Hey, and welcome back, everyone. This is Joseph S. Samaniego, the author of the Carolingian Age series, again for part 2 of the Crusader Kings III playthrough, as I play as the Holy Roman Emperor and talk about history. And as you can see, the date is a little bit further along. My character, who I created, is a little bit more gray in the beard, long in the tooth, as they would say. And if we take a look at him, he is quite older. Now, you also know some changes. My children are, those who are still living, are adults now. A couple of them, or most of them, are married. And I will go through that because I think I have a couple that have not been. I think he is. So I have one that is not. He's still young. So we're going to, wait on that one. I do have a child that is passed on, unfortunately, and she passed on because heart failure at 44. Ugh, that's terrible. But this is the Middle Ages, and the Middle Ages is very rare for people to live into their 50s and 60s unless they had access to certain advantages that a lot of the royalty and the nobility would have had. So it wasn't uncommon for nobility to reach those ages, especially women. But for more the common folk, especially prior to the merchant class being developed in the later Middle Ages, early Renaissance, the life expectancy wasn't really as high. It wasn't as low as a lot of people would tell you. A lot of people, the whole myth and legends is that the life expectancy would have been in the 30s. Not necessarily. Yeah, there was a lot of reasons why that would kind of be thought of as the case. You had a lot more, wars going on. As we talked, I think we did talk a little bit yesterday that, and actually I can get into that a little bit today. A lot of your non-landowning and even the landowning commoners would have fought for the lords, so their life expectancy would have been lower. But then there's also the whole idea of the diet and the work and everything else that went into life, hygiene, and which actually is brought up in this game a little bit too, and other things such as disease and things happen. So 30 really wasn't the life expectancy. It was more in the 40s. 50s for most common, with those who didn't have the means to get a higher level of care, treatment, or nutrition. But yeah, so it did happen. Now 44, the heart disease, heart failure, with the way that a lot of the nobles ate, yeah, that's probably pretty common too. It's just like us. You go eat McDonald's every day of your life, yeah, you're gonna feel it. Alright, so let's get started. So as you can see, I'm actually in a war. Who the hell am I in a war with? Liberty War. Oh, I'm to help with somebody with Liberty War. But I dropped out because my grandson, who was actually in that war, died. So I dropped out of that. I'm still part of it though, because you can't drop out of the war. You can just take away your troops. So, oh well, they're gonna lose. Shouldn't have got my grandson killed. Alright, so let's get going. Alright, I'm gonna do that. Yeah, my realm's gonna lose land when my vassal dies. That happened a lot, especially in the continental area, especially in the Holy Roman Empire. What you would have is the next person in line, for whatever reason, it's this guy. I don't see him being part of the same family. I'm not sure the connection. I could probably go in there and look. He will take over as the Duke of Flanders. He will take over this county when she doesn't have children. Well, she's 18, so that's a long life for her to have children. Head of Faith for Gold. No, I'm not going to do that right now. Alright, so let's see. I can declare wars. I can imprison criminals. Oh, my son or grandson can marry. Grandson. Alright, so this is cool. So we can talk about marriage here. Marriage in the Middle Ages was pretty complex. The whole idea of courtly love was pretty common, and I think a lot of people liked that idea of the Middle Ages, of chivalry and of, damsels and knights and blah blah blah. That shit ain't like that. It really wasn't. There were certain rules of certain chivalric rules. You're not supposed to attack unarmed people. You're not supposed to attack anyone who is deemed, I guess, like you cannot attack clergy. You're not supposed to attack people who are helpless. And it was really a way to avoid the banditry of the earlier Middle Ages, late Dark Ages. As I mentioned yesterday, and as you might remember, I did say that Charles Martel took a lot of land from the church and sold it off. Things like that. They were really trying to avoid that happening again. So what they would do is they would make these stories of this is how a true knight acts. We know that's not the case for most of them. A lot of them did do some pretty bad things and then asked for forgiveness later by building a church, donating money to a church. William the Conqueror famously took his bride, and before he was William the Conqueror, I think it was before he was actually William the Conqueror, or before he became the King of England, when he was still just the Duke of Normandy, what he did was he actually started a war, and sort of a banditry, more or less, and he actually stole Matilda of Flanders. This was kind of common, but as a sort of a restitution and penance, he built a church. Him and Matilda built a chapel, and that kind of appeased the papacy. So things like that. So what we're going to do is look for my grandson a bride. He's 16 years old, so he can get married by these standards here. You're going to have to forgive it. It's kind of bad. So, okay. You got these. I'm going by prestige. You can have different levels. Alliance power is something that's really kind of look at, because you could look at the alliance, County of Zurich, County of Vaudi, County of Villach, Sundgau, and these are basically who you can marry off to, and you would be allied with those people. Now let's see. I'm not going to marry alliance, but then you would get 1,100 soldiers to back you up. Things like that. You can go by rank. So he's a grandson. I'd have to see. So that really didn't change much. So again, here's a Baroness. So she's not going to have as many. Baroness of Monaco. Ooh, 200 soldiers. So he is actually... so he's not going to inherit any of my lands. But it looks like he might be in a line to inherit. No, I guess not. He's probably not going to inherit shit. So, is what it is. So, let's see. So, what I'm going to do is go prestige. And prestige is good because it'll give the house... Trouble there. We're back. So, I was talking about marriage. So, Hugo. I think I was calling him Hugh. Hugh is also a Norman name, or Norman, more Norman, and not Norman on this playthrough. So I'm gonna go for prestige over anything else because I'm gonna give my house and my grandson a little bit of prestige. He's already part Irish and from that part of that dynasty too, so I'm sure it's gonna say they're inbred. Yeah, so their chance of inbreeding. Like I said, it's not really a big deal in the Middle Ages. I want to try to keep a lot of the good stuff going though. So here we have another young lady, and so treacherous villain, okay, whatever. And so she's gonna give my my line 400. It's gonna give her 600, so whatever. And now he's married, or about to be married. Congratulations. Mazel tov, Hugh. Oh yeah, let's pause it. Hugo. Sorry. education comes to an end. So this is one of my grandsons again, or great grandson. So I've been kind of taking care of him. So what I did earlier, let me fill you guys in. Stefan, my granddaughter Oda has given birth to a son, Stefan. All right, cool. So what I did earlier, I played a little bit earlier today. We've conquered a few more lands over here. Vassals conquered a lot of this over here. I conquered some of this, and Vassals conquered it. Conquered a little bit over here. I'm trying to work on Toloise. Conquered this over here, and a little bit in Sardinia. Now I gave a couple counties in Sardinia one to my son here. This, as you remember, this is the son I had out of wedlock, who I actually legitimized him, and there he is. And he had a son, and I gave him this county right below, and they've already been fighting each other. And that's his son, who I was already a guardian for. And looks like he has another son, Winsel, who's ill. Aww. I guess I can offer guardianship of him. It helps when you're the guardian because your character is pretty staunch. We did conquer Jerusalem, but then it was conquered from my daughter. So, it is what it is. Alright, yes, she's going to marry Hugo. And for me, myself, I have now 3 wives. Or 4 wives. Shit. Yes, they're going to let me. So, Matilda passed. Unfortunately, she had wounds from a battle. So she passed. And I married a Kaiser, basically Claudia of Croatia. And she passed, natural causes. Then I married excuse me, Linda Sanchez de Aragon. And she cheated on me and died. And then now I have Sibylla, and she is, I want to say, she's from England. I'm trying to remember who her father was. Prince William. Oh, well. But yeah, she's from, the Norman line. But they became English already. And so she has a son with me now. Right here. A full card. Oh, I can't. So we are, we're still working at this point in the Middle Ages. We're still working with a succession of partition, which I explained last night. Yesterday was a succession rule where your children inherit virtually equally. Your oldest would typically get a little bit better, but at the same time, it would be fairly equal. Alright, so yeah, he's got 9 entering points, so we're going to go with Duke Bernard. So yeah, really what happened was your sons would inherit pretty much, kind of at a pie. If you think of a pie and you split in the pie a certain amount and trying to give equal shares, it isn't always going to equal out, because if you think about it, some lands may be worth a little bit more, some may have better vassals, while some may have better farms, stuff like that. For the most part, though, it's going to equal out. Gunhilda can marry. Gunhilda, my granddaughter. So you can also choose a matrilineal marriage, and that's what I did. And that's when you just saw the one that she had a son. Well, that was a matrilineal marriage. And the reason I want to do matrilineal marriages for my daughters, for most of my daughters, I don't do it for all of them, is because I really want to increase my house and increase my my dynasty. So I'm gonna go to this guy, Leon. Leon typically has a good backing, and his brother is the king of Leon. See, so that would actually be a pretty good alliance if we can form it. Scheme in my court. Someone's planning to kill my vassal, Duke Willem. Oh, poor guy. So, yes, we have. Now, that doesn't guarantee I have an alliance with them, but it can work an alliance with them for later. All right. Oh, so my wife's already sick again. Wow, must be something I'm doing. All right. So the other thing that you can do is you can vassalize people. So I'm not there yet with him. Capital. No. Close. Now these guys here, as I said, this is what would become Sicily, but they've let some of their enemies take over, and then I came swooping in myself. I get new points. And that land was always very, very sought after. Sicily was always extremely sought after because of its really great farmland, its really great location in the Mediterranean, and it was just a place that a lot of people really wanted to have a hold of. And at one point, after the mid-11th century, the Normans did conquer it and held on to it for about 300 years or so. But it was a very multicultural, very rich heritage land and very rich soil as well. A lot of lemon trees, and that was a very lucrative crop for Sicily for many, many years. Let's see here. I can befriend. I'm in the diplomacy, majesty focus. I've done a couple others so far. I did this one for a little while. Got some things that I really wanted. I could come back over here and do that one later. I did Marshall for a little while. Got some things that I really wanted. Like I said, you really want to look at stuff like this because you can get increase your men-at-arms. But now I'm in diplomacy because I can do a little bit of that too with a different. This is more for treaties and forging things, claims, things like that. This would help for prestige, and this is for family. So I don't really know what I want to do. I guess foreign affairs. Yeah, why not? Joseph can marry. So my grandson, Joseph. Okay, so we're gonna do it again. And so don't do this for the comes prestige. There's a lot of Irish that come up first. And nothing against that. My dad we have some Irish blood in us, and so I kind of have like a little bit of Irish and Hispanic, mostly Spanish for me, Hispanic and some Native American. But kind of have to be like, hey, yeah, I have an Irish in there. It's cool too, but the aspect I'm gonna go with Louise here. It's not gonna give us much prestige, but it's a good little. It's right here. And I'm eyeing that area a lot, especially because I want to connect. I don't like not having that. Let's see, who wants to kill who? Planned against Duke. Oh, they found out who planned. So one thing about the Irish that's just kind of frustrating for me is that it's here. And distance really does matter in this game. Oh, my friend, it really does matter. I'll show you. If you go down here, you have the Nubian lands, and you can marry within these families because they're Christian. That's the kind of obstacle for marriage is religion. But if you click here, you're too far away to direct, and that's me being in continental Europe. And holy shit, I did not know I had this land. Oh, son of a bitch. See, your vassals kind of work. You know what? I vassalized them, and that's why I got it. Wasn't even paying attention. So you're close in a way to some of these lands, not close. So being over here, you're further away, so it kind of hurts, especially for playing those. So, all right, so let's take a look at Toulouse. I really want to vassalize him, but he's not coming. Yep, I know it's coming. And I'm not his rightful ruler. His rightful liege think it's the King of Aquitaine. And to check that, you can check here. Part of Aquitaine. So the Aquitaine. How do I get stress? Oh, my friend is here. So I can't vassalize them like that. I can start a war to vassalize them. That's not really what I want to do. Do I want to go to a party right now? No. That's not really what I'm goal is at this point. So my first wife died, who was a Duchess of Tuscany. He actually became the Duke of Tuscany pretty quick. Oh, he's already had a son die? Oh, I'm sorry. And a daughter? Damn. Well, shit. He's doing pretty good. He's a blade master. He's got the architect. I mean, he's doing pretty good. Unyielding defender? Oh, wow. Well, Hugo's already had a kid. Let's see. We can, since he's still living with me, name after Hugo. Why not? You know, he's my player. He's the one that we voted on. I think I showed that yesterday, in yesterday's video. And his here, there's okay. I don't believe I was his guardian, so you know, guess I can't take credit for that. So we talked about a lot about realms and the kind of interactions that they would have. One thing that's been happening, you know, I played the Holy Roman Empire before, and Hungary is usually by now, actually usually pretty quickly, already vassalized because Bohemia would have taken them over. They have a claim. I think I messed up because I created the Kingdom of Bohemia myself. So, which one is that? That's Bavaria. Actually, went over here, Bohemia. So I'm actually the king of Bohemia, and I did that while they were hungry for that, and that might have messed them up. So, to my subjects in Bohemia, I am sorry. It is what it is, though. So I really want to take more of this land. Like I said, Sicily can get you good tax. I want to finish getting Salerno. And I can't vassalize them. I don't really want to fight them, but I will if I have to. Scheme at court. Duke Debo is scheming against. Oh wow, my grandson. Let the traitor be known. Hugo can marry a different Hugo or same Hugo? No, it must be a different Hugo. Huh. And he has he's scaly. Oh, poor guy. Oh, let's make him count. You want to be a count, Hugo? So, obviously that's not gonna... Actually, this might be the better count. Wow, it drops... So, this is in my realm, in my prince's realm, so this would probably be a better one. You really want to avoid forming... You want the alliances, but forming those connections through marriage of... you know, marrying off your grandchildren or children to other rulers, especially if they're your heirs. And the reason for that is in certain situations, and you gotta be careful because it can get really kind of confusing. Is they can inherit others, or their children can inherit, and then through just the family connections of the other line, they actually leave your realm. It's pretty, you know, it can get kind of, don't name George, it can get kind of confusing after a while. That happened quite a bit. Damn, a lot of people can get married. What the hell kind of name you got? God, again? Alright. Bless you, kid, for having a name. Alright, so, let's go for rank. Maybe I can make something happen here. Monaco still. She's a giant. I'm not sure why that'd be a penalty. I mean, but actually in real life situations, a lot of times that does happen. Oh, my grandson died in battle. Oh, biscuits. Here, Baroness Beatrice of Riverzon. Now, her liege is French. So this is kind of something I was talking about, but we're going to anyway. So what could happen is something similar to this. Alright. This thing, I'm clicking fast and this thing is responding to me. Something similar to this. So, oh wow, so it's not the air. Well, shit. Well, guess what's gonna happen with that then? Somebody gonna get a war on them. Unforeseen tragedy. Invita Estefana, the spouse of my son and heir, has passed away. All those carefully named laid plans and blah blah blah. That happens. He's got like 5 of his kids already. What the hell? Does it really matter? Shit, he's got more than that. Huh. 4 living and damn, keep dying. Princess Mary of England. There you go. Boom. Done. So her father is King Thomas of England. And she is not the heir, but her children could have claim to the throne. We could something like we saw with the War of the Roses. A lot of the claims were matrilineal. That is obviously a weaker claim than some of the ones that were done. A lot of times what would happen, I'm going to pause it so I can talk. Actually, I can keep going because the screen I'm going to is not going to really interrupt too much. A lot of times what would happen is like this. You see your dynasty, 2-4. You see your dynasty right here. So, we're going to talk about my firstborn. He's been legitimized, so he's my firstborn. He would technically be my heir, but because he's legitimized, he's not. So we're going to now move to the next guy. Prince Joseph is basically the crown prince, and he is the heir. So if he were to pass, it would go to his son, his first eldest son. If he were to pass, it would go to his first eldest son, ignoring this prince, Leopold, ignoring this prince, Philip, and basically ignore the rest of them. And again, same with his. Actually, his already died, so okay. Now, that's where it starts getting murkier, is who has the rightful claim after that. You see, we're all blessed with a lot of daughters. So you look at here, Prince Rabat has a son, Joseph, and that will probably be the next in line. And that's how a lot of them would go. The thing that happened in England was that others started coming out saying they had claim. Edward III died, leaving an heir of Richard III, who was a minor. And he was actually, Richard III was Edward III's grandson. I'm sorry, not Richard III, Richard II. It said wrong when it came out of my mouth. I kept thinking about it. I was like, wait a minute, no, it's not Richard. It's Edward II, or Richard II, excuse me, who was Edward, the Prince of Wales' son, and Edward III's grandson. Now, Edward, the Prince of Wales, was the Black Prince. Now, Richard II was a minor when he took over. That was how it was laid out. His uncles, however, really felt that they should have had more control over the government. Whether or not they really felt like they should have been king or not is up for debate. It's pretty obvious that they felt they should have been something more than just uncles. So Henry Bolingbroke, who was John of Gaunt's son, basically took up the cause of, I'm going to be the true king. I'm the true king. My father was this, and blah blah blah. Well, John of Gaunt was Edward the Black Prince's, Edward III's second son, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I want to say he was the second son, or second surviving son. And what happened, basically, actually no, he wasn't. Now think about it, Lionel was the second son. Lionel of Clarence. John of Gaunt was the third son, but he was also probably the most, after the Black Prince, really the most powerful. He had married into the Castilian line. He was also the Duke of Lancaster from marriage. He was a pretty powerful and rich guy. So, and that's what kind of formulated, in the very easiest terms, there was just a power struggle through the dynasty. Now, one other thing that started to happen with the dynasty was you had a prince sort of come up and say, well, my grandmother was Edward's daughter. And really, the answer to that should have been so. But he actually did become king. So it came from that. Alright. Yeah, we're not fighting this family. Beatrix, shut up. Hugo, shut up. Shut up. We ain't fighting in this family. Yeah, I'm the best all around, man. Screw you guys. Yeah, you're both acting like children. Ooh, 60%. So you gotta look at the percentages here. You're wrong here, you're wrong. Let's do this. 60% is still better than 50. I kind of like a diplomacy. Okay, I guess that's good. I mean, presence of criminal. Dubo. 70%. I don't really care. What are you trying to do? Never back down challenge. I usually just go for that one whenever I see that one. Alright, flexible truces is always good. Embassies are pretty good. I really do want to go to get some more prestige here. So I'm going to go firm hand on this one. Which my monthly prestige per dread will go up. I don't think I have a lot of dread. I'm a pretty nice guy. Yeah, I have no dread. So my prestige is going to go up. For the next one, the knights are going to give me monthly prestige points. And my knights have gone up, actually. I now have 16 knights. And I can use some of my money, because I have a lot of money, to increase my men-at-arms. Like I said, I always love the pikemen. Pikemen were great in battle, because they would actually have, like I said, counters to cavalry. You really want that. Braveheart, the movie, sucked. For action and battle scenes, it was pretty cool, but for historical accuracy, it really wasn't that great, except for the fact that they used pikemen in a very, very accurate way. Pikes were better. Did y'all hear that whistle? Pikes were better against horses than anything else. It just was very famously used throughout the Middle Ages. I can't remember what battle it was, but at one battle, the cantons of, and this is in the later Renaissance or High Middle Ages, the cantons of Switzerland got together, formed an alliance, and fought off the Holy Roman Empire, and famously used the Swiss pikemen in that battle. I could look it up, but it would take me a while to look it up. But yeah, the Swiss pikemen were very instrumental in that battle. In fact, there was one pikeman who, as the battle started, to turn for the Swiss into the Empire's favor
he sacrificed himself by taking the lances and in effect making a hole in the Holy Roman Empire line that allowed the Swiss pikemen, to attack and win the battle. So that's definitely there's a lot of precedence for spears and pikes being better than horses, especially if you do a good phalanx or a shield wall. Right, so Garcia can marry. And we're going, if we're going to do prestige again, actually, you know what, here you go. Lombard. And she's sick. Why is she sick? She's a twin, so for some reason that gives you some kind of bonus opinions, but she's smart. She's intelligent, so that's something I get passed down. Because he is also intelligent. He is a bleeder. I do not know where that came from. No, it came from, see, there you go, it came from his mother. Sigismund. So that's a very German Holy Roman Empire name. There was an emperor with that name. Actually, he was the emperor around the time of Vlad the Impaler, Vlad Tepes. He was actually the emperor in that time period. And at that point, I want to say Hungary was part of the Holy Roman Empire, or at least parts of it were. And Wallachia, which is over here, you can see there's Transylvanian Alps. In fact, I think the Transylvanian Alps are de jure of Wallachia. Yes, because that's Wallachia. There you go. That was a very contested area. Vlad played a huge role in helping and hurting the Ottoman Empire, and vice versa with the Holy Roman Empire and with Austria and a lot of those lands. So, but Sigismund was one of the emperors during his time period. Alright, so we're moving along. I would love to see how love for all y'all, you can see how the everything goes for inheritance. Did you ever get remarried? That's right, the Queen of England, or the Princess of England. And he had a baby. Yay! Wolfhild. So a lot of people might be thinking, why did I pick the name for a German, or for German lands, to have a Spanish name? Well, a little history on this area. Spain, there were actually two, at least one, king of Spain who was the Holy Roman emperor. They were Habsburg, obviously, and they were connected for a while. But also, if you look here, go closer. Here we are, down here. There's Alarcon. So some of my family came from that region, and we all connected to the Samaniego family, which is from this region. There's no part of it here. There are two very small places in Spain. But yeah, so it's pretty cool to see that there, and I took the name. I like the name. As you heard, Joseph S. Samaniego. Alright, so we're going to move along. I'm going to speed this up a little bit. Yeah, last night's video got a little longer than I imagined it to. It's what it is. This one might get kind of long too. And I don't want to get too long, but I want to definitely cover some stuff. I like talking about history. Comfort of a friend. Count Nicholas is my friend. I forget all the troubles of the outside world because I talked to him for a little while. Cool. I'm no longer overwhelmed by stress. And in real life, I am crazily overwhelmed by stress. To the point I am destroying my whole life. Okay, but a little too personal. No, I'm just kidding. But it is a stressful time, so it's good to play video games. I am going to a party. I did not mean to go to a party. I really did not want to go to a party. Dial control 6. Damn, I need to get some control over there. Alright, so we're going to construct a new building. We're going to construct a temple. You have to have a temple before you can construct a city and before you can construct a new mott or castle. So we're doing that, okay. I would distract a guest to get him free. What did that say? The Sicilians don't have... Oh, it does have the mott. Mott was the man-made structure, not building. Shit. That a castle sat on, or a keep would sit on. Excuse me. These were the kind of the hills, and in earlier times, they would on top of them sit a wooden kind of keep, probably rudimentary or tower look. But then later on, there would be stone, and the best way to do it with stone, because you were building up a hill out of dirt and wood, would be shell keep. Time to hit the books because I want to learn check. I thought I already did learn check. So one thing, you can look at another video of mine, and I'll link it, about the shell keeps. If you look at my history inspired fantasy series, you'll see talks about keeps, and a couple that actually talked about the Mott and Baileys. And that's what you would see. No, I'm not going to any more parties right now. What you would see in a lot, especially in the Norman and early early English style, it would have been the Bailey was kind of like the gatehouse, while the Mott was the hill, so to speak, or mound. But like I said, you can take a look at I can demand payment. Yay, money. Other videos to see a little bit more about those. In recent visits, I spent some time speaking with Duchess Estefana's vassal, Duke Gerard. I've been holding Estefana in quite high regard, and what he told me makes me clear I was right too. Women worth respect. You should respect all women. What the hell kind of shit is that? You gotta respect all women. I mean, just makes common. Nice. Certain that Baron, whatever his name is, scheming against. So grandson scheming against grandson. Yeah, that is one thing about this game that's not as fun is that if you're, they really kind of focus on, I want to get the card. It is harder to play if you play as a female character, especially when you start looking at like inheritance and stuff. Now, the cool thing though is if you come over here, I can zoom out right here. In a lot of these areas here, it's more equal. In the European model, it's very male preference. Women can inherit, in most cases. There are a few that are male only. Most of them are male preference. And I kind of find that it just, it's okay because it's historical. It kind of makes the game kind of boring after a while because then you're like, well, but I would like to have my daughter inherit. My daughter's stronger than my sons. And it did happen, and it did actually happen, historically. And yes, it also kicked off a lot of wars. The whole Spanish succession and Austrian succession wars were kicked off because of it. But it did happen. We do know of that. The anarchy kind of was in England was kind of caused because of that too. The barons and the earls wanted Stephen to be the king. Stephen or Stephen, not sure the correct pronunciation, honestly. Whereas Matilda was the actual, I guess, what would be considered true heir, being that she was the daughter of William. And there was this whole discrimination against women. Honestly, it's a lot of bullshit. But if you read my books, little plug here. If you read my books, the women queens are definitely highly regarded. And in fact, my latest one that I'm writing is centered around someone who should be queen, or should be the next in line for queen, but is not. And kind of her journey of life, to right or wrong, so to speak. So it's very part of, I definitely see powerful women as being some people, just women in general, but yeah, historically, you got to go back years and years, generations to really see the aspect of society honoring not just the men, what the men bring, but women bring to society and to our lives. So unfortunately, that was lost some time. From the best way we could tell, depending on the culture, in like the 300s, 400s. So I think that would be good for tonight. A better contract. Oh, crap, they want more money. Oh, no, I can get his land. All right, give me a new land. There was a lot of bargaining for counties back in those days. I'll deal with this later. All right, so thanks for listening. I'm going to cut it shorter today than we did yesterday. Yeah, I'm not getting involved in that crap. I got enough kids. And grandkids, it seems. Jesus Christ. So I'm going to cut it shorter today than we did yesterday, so don't forget to like and subscribe. I hope you've enjoyed this, and be on the lookout for part 3 in the next couple days or so. And remember, check the links. I'll post a link of the keep videos I was talking about, and I'll see you next time. Take care.